On Friday, 2nd October, 1187, after a 12-day siege, and less than a century after the victorious climax of the First Crusade, the inhabitants of Jerusalem surrendered their city under the terms allowed them by Saladin. Those who could afford to pay their ransom were free to walk towards the coast. Those who could not pay were to be taken away as slaves. A few Knights Hospitaller were permitted to remain to run their hospital for pilgrims, located in the heart of the city, adjacent to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. The Knights of the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ were driven out altogether. Their headquarters had been the Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount. The Franks believed that the Aqsa Mosque had been built on the very site of the Templum Solomonis, as they called it in Latin, and it was not long before the knights became known as the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon, or simply and most famously, the Templars. Saladin's order to purify Jerusalem of the filth of the hellish Franks, in the words of his secretary Imad al-Din, began with the Aqsa Mosque, for the Templars had been overflowing with impurities, so that slackness in purifying it is forbidden to us. The walls and floors of the Aqsa Mosque and the nearby Dome of the Rock were cleansed with rosewater and incense. Then Saladin's soldiers went about the city tearing down churches, or stripping them of their decorations and converting them to mosques and madrasas, to purify Jerusalem of the pollution of those races, of the filth of the dregs of humanity, to reduce the minds to silence by silencing the bells. Only the Church of the Holy Sepulchre was spared, Saladin saying that it would pay its way by charging Christian pilgrims an extortionate entrance fee. To the Franks of Outremer, the land across the sea, as the Crusader States were called, the fall of Jerusalem was seen as the terrible judgment of God. Saladin's capture of the city even suggested to some that Christianity was an inferior belief to Islam. Our people held the city of Jerusalem for some 89 years, wrote the anonymous author of De Expugnatione Terrae Sanctae per Saladinum. Within a short time, Saladin had conquered almost the whole kingdom of Jerusalem. He exalted the grandeur of Mohammed's law, and showed that in the event its might exceeded that of the Christian religion.